endlessly searching for an original song.
Welcome back to Dollhouse of Offerings. Such a bath would certainly make a good impression on guests. Kuru scanned the room briefly, but nothing looked particularly worth investigating. Then Kyoko came up behind him and pressed her fingers into his back, rubbing it up and down.
クロウさんが入るときは私がお手伝いしますのでご心配なく。背中大きいですね。
She is like beyond the thirst. Against his back, Kuro felt Kyoko's hand, her breath, her soft breast. He turned around. He grabbed Kyoko by the shoulders and looked her in the eyes.
クロウさん、はい、私はいつも構いませんし、
Shit, she's gonna vibrate out of existence if we let this keep happening.
心の準備もできてますので、します。いたしますか？
It's the vibration, it's making me laugh.
もちろん初めてですので至らないところもあるかと思いますが、どうかご容赦してください。
しないから落ち着こう。
しないのですか？そうですか。そう。
Can't you make him do whatever you want?
いずれはするだろうけど。
She's about to go into overdrive.
ですよね。クロウさんは私の夫ですから当然です。
うん。
He's like, oh man, I got the crazy one. They held each other's gaze for several seconds. Oh god, she's going again. Kyoko leaned herself to the ground and curled into a ball right there.
京子、しっかり。
だって私、クロウさんにあんな情けないところを見られて。
Nope, just really crazy and horny.
舞い上がっていっぱい誘ってしまってあのざまでは完全に一人相撲です。
でも俺は
クロウさんがまんざらでもないのは分かっています。だって優しくて可愛くて素敵で、私がこうやって悶々としていても付き合ってくれるでしょ。
He's like, man, can I get the normal one? Kyoru didn't know what to say, but instead he patted Kyoko's back in an attempt to be comforting.
ありがとうございます。
いいよ。こういうことは何度もあるだろうし。
あった方がいいですか？
四六時中一緒にいたらどうしてもね。
こんな情けないところをもっと見せた方がいいですか？恥ずかしいですが、クロウさんが望むのであれば。
隠されるよりはいい。
それじゃ仕方ないですね。
Kyoko stood up and wiped her tears on her sleeves of her kimono. She looked back to Kyaru and bowed her head.
お会いしてからずっと情けないところばかりお見せしてしまい申し訳ありません。情緒不安定な女だとお思いでしょうが、普段はこうではないのです。先ほども申し上げたように、 クロウさんの前では舞い上がり、自分でも止められなくなってしまいます。
Hikaru nodded and gave her an unobjectionable response while he tried to weigh whether he should find it comforting that Kyoko wasn't always so emotionally volatile.
そうなのか。
I don't believe that she's not always like this.
そうなのです。ですが、クロウさんはこんな私の期待も構わない。天津さえすべて受け入れるとおっしゃってくださいました。
I don't think I said that, but denying it seems like a bad idea. Kyaru was acting on instinct. He smiled ambiguously.
はい。はい。どんな姿でもあなたにお見せしていきます。それを存分に楽しんでください。
I feel like this sentence right here in about, 20, 30 minutes of the game is probably going to bite us in the ass. I'm just guessing here.
ああ、
Recognizing her enthusiasm, Karu nodded vigorously.
楽しませてもらおう。
Clenching her fist with determination, Kyoko started leading Kyaru out of the room.
それでは離れに参りましょう。しっかりついてきてくださいね。
Kyaru could tell by the look in her eyes that she expected him to stay close. He obliged wordlessly. In the courtyard, a little ways removed from the entrance to the main house, there was a small annex. The architecture was simple, but not cheap. In fact, it was luxurious compared to the house Yusaka's property where he had lived.
近すぎず、遠すぎず。
Looking back across the estate towards the main house, he could see the entrance building at once. Inside the annex, he saw a futon rolled up in the corner with several pairs of men's kimonos and obi folded neatly on top of it.
ここに住むのか。
At this distance, he would be able to tell if someone was coming, and he could fight without dragging the family into it.
いい場所だな。ありがと
He smiled at Kyoko.
気に入っていただけましたか？
う。ああ。うん。どうして落ち込んでるんだ？
同じ部屋が良かったのに、おじいさまがさすがにダメだと。
婿入りとはいえ、正式に婚礼を済ませるまではってところかな。
そうです。私がクロウさん以外と結ばれるなんてありえないのに、離れ離れにされるなんて。
Look, girl, I've seen how horny you are.
近いんだから、いつでも来ればいい。
そうですね。いつでも、夜でも。本当に来る
I mean, she's cute. Incredibly thirsty, but cute.
の？呼ばい。朝がけ。
My God, girl.
頑張りますので、ご期待ください。
I want this to be a lesson because I was told this was written and drawn by a girl, and people can confirm or deny that one for me. There are a lot of people that say girls don't get horny. This is proof right here. Woo! Woohoo! This girl needs a very cold bath. Her response and the way she was blushing made Karu think that he was imposing on her.
だが、そういうのは男の方から行くものだろう。
I would say that her grandfather would probably kill you, but I'm pretty sure you could take him.
来てくれるのですね。
Oh, she is adorable, though. I really do like the art. That art is so nice. Like, that art is really, really nice.
すぐには無理だけど。ああ、いや、どうかな。
わかりました。待っています。ああ、そうです。クロウさんから夜来て。いつでも 準備万端にしておきます。
Kyaru had figured something out about Kyoko. There was no way to ask her to rein herself in. He needed to be concert and specific.
その時は事前に知らせる。
びっくりしたいです。
わかった。直前に知らせる。
はい。よかった。
I know what it actually is. She's just excited. Like it's supposed to be young love, but it's just really, really funny considering the type of game this is. Also, is Nikopata an adult game? Because I was told it wasn't, but I honestly, I think I played one of them once on stream. It must not be then if I did it on stream. I don't remember. I don't. You guys will have to let me know. Are they even games worth playing? Kyoko couldn't stop grinning or sighing contently. Meanwhile, Kuro couldn't figure out what it was that she thought was good.
よし。それじゃあ、俺は中を整理するから。京子はどうする？
もちろん、ご一緒します。
Kyoko had an enormous smile on her face. Kyaru had merely nodded. He had expected as much. And blind. The art is really nice. The next morning, when the sun had been up for a little while, Kyaru was doing exercises outside the annex. He was barefoot and holding his hands in loose fists. One after the other, he would take a step with his right leg and then with his left, walking in the most natural way. But he was moving very slowly. One step took nearly 10 seconds. And his eyes were unfocused, not looking at anything in particular. He went about 20 meters like that. It's Tai Chi, right? He took a deep breath, lowered his hips ever so slightly, and started backing up in the same manner. His pace was steady and unchanging. When he got back to where he started, he lowered his hips even more and began advancing again. Then he would repeat the whole process. His face betrayed no emotion, and inside he was calm. There was only the flexing of muscle, the awareness of the body, and the detached experience of his senses. It was his job to end lives. No emotional investment was necessary at the end, so Karu did not develop any. I never actually got to go on an assignment. He lowered his hips again and continued his routine with his mind wandering. As far as the residents of Nanawara Island were concerned, House Yasaka's business was unspeakably shameful. They were human traffickers, grooming children to do evil work and exporting them to the mainland. Hey, guys! Thanks. Those sentences are going to get me nailed. I'm going to go hide in the corner now. Just don't pay any attention to me. Here, I'm back. I wouldn't stay in the corner for long. Of course, talents varied from person to person, but Karu was raised to be good at assassination. Typically, when a Yasaka was almost ready for their first real assignment, Io would accompany them to the mainland to test them. There, as head mistress, she would give them a target and observe how they killed. She said it was so that she could nip any problems in the bud. Unfortunately, Karu had never been granted such an opportunity. Still, he was very much capable of killing. The children of House Yasaka underwent intense training, and accidents were not uncommon. Karu had been the cause of more than a few such accidents in his time. I tried to hold back, but it took so little to kill them. Given his history, he wasn't sure he was capable of being gentle with a woman. He was a little nervous about that. Kyoko. He was determined not to bring harm to his own fiancée, especially when they had only just gotten engaged. But what was the nature of his feelings about her? He didn't know. He knew she wasn't entirely stable, even if she only showed it when he was around. Would he be able to meet her needs? Yeah, now he knows she's fucking crazy. Standing there, racking his brain, wouldn't bring him any closer to an answer. He suspected the only way to reach one would be to give it time, but part of him doubted that he would ever figure it out. I can accept that I simply don't know for now, but that doesn't mean I can just forget about it. He didn't want to expose Kyoko to such worries and doubts, of course. She would enjoy it if he did. I don't want to rely on her too much. It wouldn't be right. I don't deserve that. So for whatever she does for me, I need to give something in return. Kaoru had a strong sense of fairness. Unfortunately, he still couldn't think of anything he could actually have to offer. He had gone over this line of thought 20 times since the night before. He was counting. I surely thought I would come up with something by now. I guess not. He had been in contemplation for so long that he had lowered his hips to a mere 30 centimeters above the ground. Slowly, steadily, he continued to move backwards. He wasn't sliding his feet either. He carefully lifted each leg, one after the other, while his hips remained firmly in place. I really want to see what this looks like. And his steps didn't make a sound. He had gone back and forth along the same path countless times, yet he hadn't left so much as a footprint. Eventually, he reached his starting point once again. Then there was a sudden rush of air and he was gone. He was already 20 meters away at the other end of his path. His arms were outstretched and hands open wide with a palm forward, his wrist bent at the right angle. His pose suggested a judo strike to the neck. Somewhere in the distance, a flock of birds took flight. Even far away, the cloud stopped in its track. A cloud stopped in its tracks for a moment as it was cleaved in half before continuing to drift along. Kaoru stood up straight and took a deep breath before looking towards the annex.
Ohayo, Kyoko.
Kyoko stepped out of the shadows. She thought she was hiding in and bowed, seemingly feeling out Kyoru's mood.
おはようございます。クロさん。
When she lifted her head, she looked straight at him. She had a moist rag in her hands.
ありがとう。
どうぞ。
They're gonna be so cute. We all know this is gonna go bad. I have been warned a bit about this game, so I'm not sure how bad it is. I do have another one someone suggested to me, because again, I've said this before, I've gotten a few emails filled with games. Those that I don't buy, I get usually sent by fans, and I do give credit. This one was sent in a pack of games. I had 3 games that were called... how did the person put it? What was it? SAF. I think it's sadistic as fuck, is what they put it. And the message was, I see you like really messed up games. I promise this isn't as bad as Sadistic Blood. I just said sorry. I had to pull it up on my phone. And again, the person wants to remain anonymous. And I am very much, if you guys do email me games, I do keep your name anonymous unless you want to shout out. Obviously, I don't want to give people away on that. But they said they bought this from Jast and wanted to share this and a couple of other games. So thank you for supporting Jast also. Kaoru took the rag and used it to wipe down his neck and chest. Kyoko's gaze traced over his exposed skin and followed his every movement. There was a hungry look in her eye. No, she horny.
クロさん、私が拭きましょうか？
いや、このくらいは。
Aww.
お願いする。
Again, I really like that one pose. It's really cute. They have the slight blush and the hair and everything. Again, the art is fantastic. This is gonna get fucked. Is she gonna die? I don't want to see her die. Just because she's horny and unstable, she's gonna do something terrible. Oh god. Bro, don't talk to any other women. I just thought of what's going to happen. Don't talk to another woman. There are no other women in your life right now, my man. Kyoko practically tore the rag out of Kyo's hand and began to wipe his body down tenderly.
クロさんの体。
そうかな。
She She reached her long, delicate fingers along the layers of his kimono and caressed his body with the rag, his abs, his chest, his neck. Her fingers were chilly, as was the wet rag.
しょ手あげてください。
Kyaru did as she asked, and Kyoko massaged from his armpit to his bicep. I'm not used to being touched, it feels weird. But despite the thought, Kyaru remained completely still. He's getting more out of this than you are. Also, the voice acting is really good. She seemed to be enjoying herself. Her cheeks were burning up. Meanwhile, Kyaru was taking note of the fine features of her face and the tender-looking nape of her neck, peeking out of the parting of her hair. She's very pretty. He assumed a normal man in this situation would sweep her off her feet and carry her to the annex and ravage her right there. Unfortunately, Kyaru didn't particularly feel like doing any of that, and even if he did, he had a great deal of self-control.
クロウさん。
Kyoko placed her palm on his chest and looked up at him. It seemed as though she was tearing up, her eyes shimmering with a mixture of joy and anxiety.
あまり汗をかいていませんね。
Her fingers were on his chest, skin against skin. Kyaru nodded, as he hadn't shed so much as a single drop.
鍛錬をしているご様子でしたので、もっと汗を流しているかと思いました。
Kyoko whined and stuck out her tongue in an expression of disappointment. Kyaru sighed. He knew what she wanted.
そんなに激しく動いてはいない。だいたい汗だくになるほどの運動とは無縁だ。期待させたならすまない。
そんなことはありますが。
Kyoko's voice started to crack as she stumbled over her words. She stepped away from Kyaru and flared the rag around in embarrassment. Kyaru observed her while he adjusted his kimono.
今度から努力してみる。
Aww. Kyoko clenched the barely used rag in her fist as she tried not to look at him, her eyes darting back and forth.
遠慮しないでいいと言っただろう。
She held the rag to her lips shyly and nodded.
Hi.
Again, I really like that pose.
仲が良いな。
Go away, Grandpa. Go away, Grandpa. Kyoko jumped behind her. Dugan Shiki was smiling.
これならば夫婦仲の心配は無用だな、京子。
Okay, no, Grandpa's cool. Keep him around. He's fine.
もちろんです、おじいさま。ところで、いつからそちらに？
お前同様、影に隠れて婿殿の朝稽古を見ていたのよ。
Was he doing the horse stance, I wonder? Yeah, he was. No, you don't go back like that in the horse stance, do you? Horse riding stance? I'm trying to figure out which stance he was doing.
最初から？
にしても、八坂の研鑽、見事なものだ。
おはようございます、道元様。
おはよう。しかし親子となるのだから、その呼び方はな。
いえ、正式な婚礼はまだですので、それまでは。
殊勝なことだ。
クロウさん。
She shuffled over next to Kyaru and tugged at his sleeve.
どうしたんだ？道元様の前だろ
おじいさまがいることご存知でしたか？
う。うん。
そんな何を今さらみたいな表情を。だって私おじいさまの見ている
京子。ユキコを手伝いに行け。わしは婿殿と少し話してから共に行こう。
前で。わかりました。失礼します、クロウさん。
So we're gonna see what the combo is next time. What is the button? That is not the button. What is the button? That's the button. So we'll see what the combo is next time. So far, I'm liking this. I think it's really... I love the art. I love, like, the music. The voice acting is really good. I'm curious to see why somebody called it what the person that emailed it called it what it did. I like that I pointed to my phone like you guys can see it. But I do enjoy this. By the way, if you guys do like visual novels, I'm doing a bunch of other ones on my other channel, Sinfully Pure. So go check that out and check out The Eldritch Abomination. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.